Introducing the 369 Offering Bear Duffel Bag. 369 Offering Bear Duffel Bag is perfect for any adventure. And the pink bear duffel bag is sure to turn heads.
Catch the wave.
And so, again, for those of you that don't know, my name is A, and this is
369.
And we're going to have a discussion today, guys. So let's just hop right on into it. So last night we were talking about dreams and portals and past lives and reincarnation. And 369 is an expert dreamer in that he is able to control his dreams. He's able to, well, in a manner of speaking, and then feel free to please to jump in because I don't want to speak for you. Control what he does in his dreams, able to like wake himself up from dreams. And it started because I was like, I need you to show me how to dream. And so in that, he started talking about when he first became aware of certain things. And something that I find really interesting about 369 is that he remembers his past lives. Do you want to pick up?
I mean, basically, that's the start of it. Having full consciousness, like ever since I've been here, having that memory, I was aware that like I was in another body, and I was aware the whole time I was a baby. So it's just, and that's what kind of got into our discussion like yesterday about the dreams. Was my way of trying to leave this dimension was through dreams. I knew to go internal to travel. So I would like cry on purpose as a baby to go to sleep. So,
Okay, so let me just stop you. Y'all, he's talking about when he was like a baby, like an infant, okay? And so his way of trying to leave, as in leave this plane as a baby, because he didn't want to be here as a baby, was to try to dream. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so that's basically what I would do was, cry because I knew I would get like exhausted and eventually close my eyes and go to sleep. And when I would close my eyes, go to sleep, I would basically see my other lives, other places that I lived, and I was trying to stay in those places, but I kept waking back up in this plane.
On Earth, right now, in this life. Okay, and again, this is him when he was a baby. So I just find that interesting. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I had awareness as an infant, as a baby. I was always speaking to myself, even though I couldn't speak, like move my mouth, or I was having conversations with myself as a baby, like trying to figure out what to do.
So I find that interesting. I don't remember personally. I don't remember anything prior to maybe like 15 months. My first memory, I was like a little bit over 1, and then everything after that, I don't remember anything until the age of 4. So it's very interesting to me that, and obviously, well, maybe not obviously for some, but he's not the only person that is like this is something that happens, right? People remember being a baby, being born, remembering their past lives. And so because he's had awareness from like infantilism, infant as a baby, I think that's what we're getting to, why I even got there last night, got to that point of like, you need to teach me how to dream, because he's been dreaming so long and had an awareness of just who he is as a soul, as a being for his entire life, and in the past life, and the past life, and the past life, and all of that, right? So that being said, speaking to someone maybe not like myself, but like myself, right? Who, because I am becoming more aware of my dreams. and when I'm dreaming. But speaking to someone who's just like a regular, your everyday, typical is what I should say, individual who I don't control my dreams. When I go to sleep, I go to sleep, and whatever happens, happens. Or I had this type of dream because I ate chocolate before I went to sleep, and I had this type of dream because I ate spicy food. Like, what would be the first thing that you would suggest, or yeah, suggest or say if someone's like, well, I want to be able to control my dreams, or I want to be able to um do this in my dream, or control what happens over here, or find out this information. Like, what would be your one of the first things you would say that a person should do?
I always tell people like to get the best control to fully understand what you can do. The first thing you need to do is like detox from
Knew you were
everything.
going to say that.
Because what you're doing is like you're regrounding yourself so that you can listen to yourself, your intuition, and you got to have a no. You already have a built-in no system in you. It's just you have to detox. You have to detox from the indoctrination of stuff that you were taught, even emotions that you were taught, how to respond to certain things. You got to detox from certain foods, uh, certain what would it be called? Like patterns of thought. Like if you already have certain trained thoughts, uh, the way that you analyze information, you have to detox from everything. That takes time. So it's like once you detox, you're able to listen to yourself more clearly when you're in your dreams, because then you can actually feel um, your true feelings. Like when you're in a dream, you can feel your true emotions because emotions are attached to memory, and memory is attached to emotion.
Can I
So,
also say something real quick on detoxing, real fast? Can I just
mm,
interject? So, detoxing in general, like you were saying, from food, from ways of thought, okay, maybe lifestyle habits, but also people too. You may need to detox certain people. And certain scenarios and things from your life, if you are at a place where you're like, okay, this is what I want to be able to do, you're going to have to either set boundaries or just rid your life of people who are telling you that this is something that you can't do, if that makes sense. If you are feeling like deep down inside, no, this is something that I can do, this is something that I want to do, when you have someone over here like, why would you do that? That's crazy. That's not true. That don't make sense. That's make pretend. You sound delusional. Well, you don't know what it is that you don't know. So yes, you can plant a seed, but if it's a thing where that is something that you're hearing on a regular basis, you need to detox yourself from that. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
what's up, Melody? See, I can see the chat.
Hi, Melody.
Yeah, you definitely have to detox with certain people, but what I found was once you start detoxing from like all the other stuff, those people will kind of slowly remove themselves. It'll be like situations will happen where you'll be removed from those people and certain environments, but you have to start the process, the action of detoxing, of making your mind strong enough. You have to discipline yourself. You have to really want it. And then, the detox, everything will play out how it's supposed to play out.
Okay, so the first step to someone who's like, okay, well, I want to be able to control my dreams, right? Because you're telling me, like, oh my gosh, are you telling me that this is true? Like, this is something that can actually happen? Because a lot of times, too, a lot of people, I should say, are still in the mindset of like, that's not true. That's bullshit, right? So you had an awareness of you're sitting here watching someone who is like, yeah, I control my dreams on a regular basis, okay? And you're like, okay, so this is true. I want to be able to do this. Start with detox. Okay. What's the next thing that you would say?
I mean, after that, it's pretty much like practice. You have to, um, I say, sleep in an environment that isn't going to startle you or wake you up out of the dream. So you got to be comfortable. Don't have like a heavy dinner and try to go to sleep. Uh, have like a healthy lifestyle where you kind of exercise and release endorphins into the body, and um, you will have like a good sleep. So once you're in a good sleep, it's just kind of like practice, paying attention, not letting outside influences determine the dream. Meaning, if you had a stressful day and you go to sleep stressed, or if you go to sleep angry, you're bringing that same thought into the dream. So it's kind of like you have to have a uh, organized life or healthy lifestyle to where you can, go to sleep without any worries or stress or pain.
Okay. So detox, healthy sleep habits, or developing a healthy sleep habits within like a healthy sleep environment. Is there anything else that you would say? So again, because I'm actively like always trying to like tonight I'm gonna control my dream kind of thing. I do know a while back you were talking about setting intentions before you go to sleep. Is that something that you would say goes into play with this as well?
Yeah, you can definitely set intentions. Like if you want to know something, you want to see something, you think about that right before you go to sleep, and it's kind of like envision it as you are falling asleep. So you'll pull yourself quicker into the dream. So once you're in it, you may see something that may happen in the future. You may see something play out, but you'll eventually get your answer because it's you talking to yourself. It's kind of like you're going through the different portals within your own self.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, listen, do you know? Like, and I would hear like people talk about it, but I didn't believe it till it actually happened. But do you know that it is possible to like visit somebody in their dream and like, or in your dream, in their dream, and in y'all's dream together and like have the same dream until it happened to me? So if that's something that you want to happen or that you want to explore, I would say following those detox, healthy sleep habits, maybe setting intentions, allowing yourself to be aware. Also, so for me to add to it and piggyback on it, I would say be okay with having uncomfortable thoughts, like or maybe not even uncomfortable, but just like thoughts that go against your programming, your indoctrination, like the things that you've been taught. You're gonna have to become okay with that, because the more down this rabbit hole you go, the more down this journey, you'll find that a lot of things that we've been taught, a majority, not everything, but a majority of what we've been taught is just, I won't go as far as to say it's just blatantly not true, although many things are, but they're skewed. Okay. And so you're going to have to become uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Cognitive dissonance is a thing. So you're going to have to be able to recognize that the reason why you're rejecting a thought is because it goes against what it is that you've been taught. But just because you've been taught something, it doesn't make it true. So that's what I would say as far as that goes. Is there anything else that you think that we should hit on for that?
I know that it takes a lot of practice. Like you're not going to get it and just because you could do this for years and then finally figure out or put together certain pieces within your dreams. Or
Mm.
some people are like me, they've been doing it for a long time because they've always been conscious. Uh, One of the things that I realized was like once I incarnated in this world, a lot of things are reversed. So it is like you're indoctrinated with information that's in reverse. That's one of the programmings that a lot of people um, kind of let messes up their vision of dreams, like how they perceive dreams, because they're relying on certain indoctrined information to interpret the dream, and it's not necessarily an interpretation is always needed. It's basically what you feel. You'll basically obtain all the information in the dream. Like you'll know that this is a past life or this is something that's going to happen in the future. You don't have to sit and try to guess. It's like your intuition will tell you what's going on as you're in the dream. And dreams are not really just dreams, it's more like a multi level telecommunication device or your kind of like device within yourself, because you can remote view, so you can see anything that you want to see, any distance, anytime. You can see premonitions, future acts. You can put your intentions. You can ask specific questions about yourself and see what's going to happen or see what's the outcome. Or if you got a plan that you want to do, you can work it out within the dream to see if it actually works. So it's not just about controlling it. It's like it's a place that you can go for many different things.
Okay. And so that is why being able to control yourself in a dream would be to your benefit. Um, okay. So let's jump to let's jump to the portal. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you yesterday, but I was like, no, we gotta wait. Um, when it comes to your memory, right? Your memory of going like way back and being, I believe you did mention that you remember like falling into the womb, right? Would you say that that's a portal?
Yeah, that's what it
So,
felt like.
like falling into the
Like
womb, if you will, like traveling through a portal, would you say?
yeah, because it's like you see like stars and but you can feel yourself falling. But it's like you
So
fall to the body.
you're saying your soul, like you could feel yourself. So you're saying like your soul being, like your light body, you could
Yeah, it's like you
feel.
basically fall into a portal. You'll see lights and streaks of light, and then you're in the body. So that was like my first feeling of like feeling the disassociation of like I was inside of something. I knew I was inside of a body, but it was like I
Okay.
could feel that I wasn't connected to the body at that time.
Okay. Okay. So then you'd be of the belief that like, well, I believe that we are the portal, right? Like we're portals, but like the womb itself is a portal, right? You would be of the belief of that, right? And then I guess you could say like the birth process, that's a portal, right? So then do you believe that, or maybe not even so much believe, but I guess is it your understanding or your knowledge that um when we dream, dreams in itself are portals?
Yes.
Or is that, am I like simplifying it way too much?
I mean, the simple way would be to say it's a portal because each portal can be different based on what you need it to be. So this world is like a projection. It's a projection of various lives that you have lived and you're projecting it outward. So you can go into a dream, go to another past life and see how it synchronizes with this current life. It could be something that you did in another life that you're doing currently in this life. Like, for example, I have a strong memory of I used to be a boxer in another life. And in this life, I just had a strong urge to want to box again. And then come to find out, it was somebody in my family that was a famous boxer. But I ran into people that also recognized me. They said they knew me from another life and I was a boxer. So it's like you're going to run into energies that you interacted with in other lives. Uh, that's usually who you see within your dreams too. That's how you usually keep energetic connections with certain entities through different lives. So, like I said, this world is kind of a projection of all those different lives, but it's like a combination of all those different lives that you're projecting out. So that's how you can link with your soul group or your soul tribe, see certain people in your dreams, or even see like what's going to happen for someone like a loved one or someone you're really connected with. You can see premonitions about them in a dream as well.
So let me ask you this, because a lot of people are going to look at this and be like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's crazy. So, what is your take, or what is your opinion on dream interpreters, right? Because in a manner of speaking, like I personally, I would call you a dream interpreter, right? Um, like seriously. So what would be your take on the dream interpreter? So let's just say I had a dream I'm pulling this out my ass, but let's just say I had a dream that I was an octopus, and I call you like, I had this dream that I was an octopus, and all my teeth fell out, and then even though I was an octopus, I lived in a desert and I jump off a sand dune. Um, you have some people that would be like, oh, well, this, your teeth falling out mean this. And because you fell, this means that. And because you were an octopus living in a desert, this means that you are void of emotion or whatever the case may be. Whereas your take might be completely different. What are your thoughts on that? Like, how would you, if I were to hit you up, like with that very real scenario, like, what would you say?
I probably wouldn't be qualified to answer. I think everybody has a role, though. I do think there are other types of dream interpreters because there's people that have books on it that can interpret dreams, and I think they all play a role because they all have a skill that could have been something that they did in a previous life or a parallel life, and they are helping other entities on their path here in this dimension. So I
So
think
you want to answer that question?
no, I wouldn't answer because I feel like I'm designed to help certain people. So I know it's
Right.
going to be empaths and intuitives, but it's more of people that know that they're reincarnated because that's like my past. So I know that there's others like me.
Right. Oh, your sound is going out. Let me see. Is that just me? There's that. Also, and shout out to Melody, starting to heal with Melody. Check her out. She is in the chat. You can scroll either of my pages. All right. Check out my recorded read channel at A Pretty Little Tarot too. That is where I do my recorded reads. But starting to heal with Melody. She is going to be on the community tab. I promise you're not going to have to scroll very far to find her. She does reads, okay, and she keeps them short and sweet. They're informational, they're entertaining, and they give you what it is that you need. You know, if you are not trying to sit and deal with my long-windedness, because I'd be super long-winded, right? Um, you can get your message from her, okay? So there's that. I wanted to make sure and say that. Also, let me see what else. YouTube is messing up on his end, so I don't know how much longer this is gonna be. We might have to cut this short and then come back on another day, but we can chop it up for a little bit longer. I'll give it like a couple minutes. I guess this has already been 30 minutes. However, we didn't hit on everything that I wanted to hit on. We'll see if he pops in, but I was gonna say we didn't hit on everything that I wanted to touch on. Melody, you said you're so grateful. I really want to hear what I kind of feel like I have an idea of what it is. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you, Melody, what I think it is that he going to say about your dream. And then if he is able to come back in, we'll see. But okay, so you said you had a dream that you hugged your daughter and you were missing her so much, and I actually felt her in my arms. So then I'm going to assume that you are not with your daughter, right? Like physically, okay? So what you just saying that, for me, I would take that to mean um your daughter probably is missing you too. And I feel like on the astral plane, um, which is where one of the places that we go when we dream. Oh, it looks like he was starting to join, but then he didn't. But on the astral plane, your y'all souls were able to give each other hugs. Okay, so in that moment in time, which time is not linear, and we'll save that for another day. But you actually were giving her a hug. It says you actually felt her in your arms because you did. She was in your arms. And I wouldn't be completely shocked if not soon. I don't know, maybe you guys have spoken and she's like, yeah, Ma, I had a dream, that I gave you a hug. If that hasn't happened, I would not be shocked if that does happen. I mean, it might be today, it might be next month, it might be 6 months. But I wouldn't be shocked if she tells you that she had that exact same dream. You said she's one of the okay, so yeah, so she's not with you right now physically. Okay. So yeah, I would just give it time and I would just see if she hits you up. Like, hey mom, or maybe even ask her, like, have you dreamt about me? Just to see. But like, hey, Ma, I had a dream last night and you were hugging me. And just see when that happens. Because that does happen. And when I tell y'all, first of all, this whole journey for me has been wild because 7, 8 years ago, 7, 8, 9 years ago, I didn't know what I didn't even know I was Capricorn. Okay. I'm gonna just tell you that. So now maybe a little farther back, maybe like 10 years ago. I didn't know I was Capricorn. I didn't even know. All right. So I was very, very skeptical. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, right? Because I've always been like weird, if you will. I've always been the weird one. Hey, hi, he's back. Hi. Um, so I'm a say this and then I'm gonna hand the mic over to you. So while you were gone, Melody had put in the chat. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. So Melody had put in the chat that she had a dream that she hugged her daughter. She and her daughter are literally like on opposite ends of the country, and she said that she felt her in her arms. So I had and what I felt as though that was, and I told her, and you weren't here for that part, but that's okay. And I'll tell you after. But I want to know what your take on that is, please. Thank you.
Usually, if you can like feel the person and you know internally that's them, that's them. It's just you're on the dream plane, and you usually have to like communicate it to the person. That's what most people don't want to do. They don't want to talk about their dreams or ask a person or tell them. And you do have to learn how to communicate. That's why I said a lot of things that we're taught were indoctrinated reverse so that we don't share this information. Um, and then it doesn't always happen at the same time too. It doesn't mean that y'all both were asleep at the
Okay.
same time and we're in the dream world. You could have had the dream first, or she could have had it first, and then whenever you had it, that was really her in the dream, or she really wants to talk to you or communicate to you. When you get real good in dreams, you can pay attention to the surroundings to where you can tell them, well, I felt you hugging me, and we were in this house, and it was this color wall, and they'd be like, yep, that was me. So that's how you can kind of clarify is pay attention to details, know your inner feeling of what you feel in the dream, because that's your intuition telling you that it's real.
Okay, so y'all see, and he wasn't even here, and we were not in contact during them past few minutes. So I'm gonna just let you take what it is that I said and then add it to his, and boom, there you have it. You said it much more eloquently than I did, but I said something similar. But I think what you said. So thank you for sharing that, and yes, welcome back. Um, okay, so there's that. Um, what were we talking about as far as like the interstellar? Where did the interstellar part come in when we were talking? Do you remember?
I think we are talking about like how time doesn't really exist in dreams either. It time does move 3 times faster in a dream, but it can move even faster than that because you can go in a dream within a dream, and you could be in a dream for like a whole week or a month, and then wake up and only a couple hours pass or an hour.
Okay, so I'm gonna interject. Hold that thought, please, please. Your memory is better than mine. So I'm gonna interject. So maybe, well, it was a while ago at this point now, guys. Maybe like I don't want to say a year ago, but maybe almost. On TikTok, I was just kind of scrolling and I came across and if I wasn't on TikTok, it was something else, but the lady was on TikTok, okay? So this lady was talking about her experience that she had that like traumatized her for like a couple years. So she went to sleep as normal one night, just I'm going to sleep, okay? In that sleep, she woke up from her day, right? Or from her sleep. Okay. She woke up and she was in a life that she knew nothing about. Nothing about her surroundings was familiar. Nothing about her surroundings looked the same, right? And so she's just talking about it and like going into detail, and she went on to explain how when she woke up, she was like legit like scared, like heart thumping out of her chest, like, this is not my bed, this is not my apartment, like, what is happening? Like, didn't know what was happening, but everything was real. Like, I'm no longer dreaming. I obviously, like, she's pinching herself, right? And so in her dream, or in her awakeness right now, she was thinking like, oh, this must be a dream. Like, even though this feels real, like, this has got to be a dream because this is not my life. So she's like laying in the bed waiting for herself to like wake up, like, wake up, wake up. And the whole day passes, like, it gets dark again. And she's like, so wait, this is not a dream? So now she's confused, like super confused. Okay. Um, Goes to sleep, wakes up, and she's still like in this other reality. So now she's like tripping, like, am I going crazy? Just thinking like, I can't even imagine just like the utter confusion, right? So she deals with all of that, like, okay, I guess I should figure out who I am in this life, right? Okay. So she does that, and like, I guess she didn't go into the detail like how she got a job or whatever the case may be, but like decides and realizes like, I guess this is my life now. And she like comes to terms with that, like gets a job, like makes friends, meets somebody, has a whole child. Okay. Mind you, again, went to sleep and woke up in this new place. So she's like trying to rationalize it with herself, like, I must have like fallen into some sort of like time loop. Mind you, she never believed in none of that shit to begin with. Okay. Which is why she thought she was crazy for a minute. Okay. Goes on, I will try not to be long-winded with this. Okay. Goes on to have like a whole life. Like I said, she had a son, a job, like lives out her whole life into her elderlyment, into her elderliness, elderly time when she's like older, like senior. To her son's 40th birthday, goes to sleep one night and wakes up back in her 20s. Said that it fucked her up. Like, it fucked her up, which I would imagine. I would imagine so. And she said it took her a long time for her to like start to even be comfortable sharing it with people. And obviously now she's sharing it on TikTok, like with the world and everything like that. But I say all that to say that is really crazy. And stuff like that does happen. And that is an example of time moving at a different rate. So 369, I know I've mentioned this particular story to you before. It's been a minute, but I have. What is your take on that? And then also, do you think that that is an example of time moving three times as fast in a dream? Um, or do you think that's like an instance of a few things happening, like a few different things happening?
Yeah, it's a few different things happening because it's usually when you're going into these other lives, they could be parallel, past, whatever. Um, they are real situations. So when you're fully into it, it's like you're fully channeling that information or that energy. So it's like you perceive time or information faster than normal, is basically what's going on. And but you're able to still process it, but it plays out in, you know, normal speed, I guess. I'm not sure what to call normal speed, but it plays out regular. It doesn't play fast. Sometimes you'll be in a dream and it might skip around a little bit. Like you may be one place and it just jumps to a whole nother scene and you kind of confused. Like that's a real way of how we travel because that's how movies are basically constructed. Movies are a replica of how we travel internally and see our past lives and memories. And that's why you have camera scenes and there's certain terminology in movies that they use that is based on what we do. It's just basically metaphysics. movies is another form of how we function. So it's very possible to uh, go to sleep, have a dream where you're in a whole nother life, where everything is coming to you. Like you actually know the people names in the dream. Like this person is your
For
son.
40 years.
Yeah,
40 years is a long time. 40.
because you're gonna perceive all that information as time is passing. You're living each day. And some of those elements are kind of the same elements you go through reincarnated. You come into this place and there is something wrong. It's not like it should be. That there's a disconnect. And it's usually people that are reincarnated and empaths and intuitives. They're the black sheep of the family because they're the one asking all the questions like, y'all don't remember this, or you don't remember your memory as a child, or you don't have these type of dreams, or you don't have this type of knowing. And people are looking at you strange because you're asking all these questions that you already know within inside of you. So you already have a knowing coming here, but it seems like there's a disconnect from you reincarnating into this light. So that offset is for a reason.
Right. Right. Uh Raise your hand if you're the black sheep. So one of the things that 369's channel aims to do and does is provide an outlet for those of us who are a little different, right? You've always, like he said, known things, perhaps maybe clear cognizance, okay, without knowing how you know them. You're just kind of born that way and you know shit, okay, or having the ability to feel other people's feelings, okay, and maybe not even people that you know like that, okay. It could literally just be like, I don't even really know this person like this. Why am I feeling their emotion? Okay. Those are just two examples because those are the ones that I can relate to, is just knowing shit without knowing how I know, and feeling other people's emotions or feeling like the energy within a room. And honestly, the thing is, there are many of us that are born this way. And by this way, I mean having that, being empathic. Um, but we're taught to tuck it away. Okay, we're taught to either mute it or numb it, or perhaps there might have been one or two times where you thought that you knew something that you don't, and then you use those one or two times. Okay, out of 10 times, two of the times you were wrong, and you're like, oh yeah, no, okay, so maybe I don't know what it is that I feel that I know. We're looking for things. What is it called? Confirmation bias. So anyway, one of the things that his channel aims to do is gather a community of those of us who are aware, um, are learning how to use our awareness to our benefit as well as the greater good. And I'll let you speak.
Yeah, just kind of like I provide an outlet of just sharing kind of like my journey because that's how you kind of help others, is sharing your experiences of what you've been through and what you know to others, because then they can open up and it's like, oh, I've been thinking the same thing my entire life. I just didn't have anybody to believe me. So like you said, a lot of people, they get uh, labeled a certain way, like they crazy or something's wrong with them, or they get medicated, and they could be actually feeling other people's feelings and thoughts, and they think it's something wrong with them because of what they've been indoctrinated to believe. Somebody else is telling them how their feelings should be, and yeah, there's something wrong with you because you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't feel that. And that's when you have to really detox from everything and listen to yourself and trust yourself, because that's what readers do. Like most people, when they become readers, is because they start trusting themselves or what they're actually hearing and feeling. And then they become healers or light workers. because they start trusting themselves. So a lot of people don't trust themselves. They're constantly looking for an outside source.
Mm.
And that's what you can't do. Like everything that we're utilizing are just basically tools. Tarot cards are tools. Um, you could be have a crystal ball, whatever you use. It's still just a tool you're using to focus. Um, but you have to start sharing, and everybody has a different path. So it's not one way of doing things. Because usually, like when I talk to people, I can kind of read them. Uh, and it's like they'll tell me their story, and then I'll find out intuitively that I've already kind of been channeling their energy, and it might be a loved one that want to talk to them, someone that passed on, or I might be able to see something, about their other life or what's going on to where I can help them. Or some people just want to know, what their abilities are and what can they do to strengthen it. So it's different ways that I help people, but it's kind of like helping them exist within this dimension.
Child, because we need all the help, honey. I don't know about y'all, but I need help like on a regular basis. um, but like in all seriousness, so make sure that you do check out his channel and then just scroll like all the way back, just all the way back, because he has all kind of interesting content on there. Okay, so now I'm gonna jump again. And so going back to the title, what do we title this? Interstellar Dream Portals, right?
Yeah.
Did we ever touch on? I feel like we had started touching on the interstellar part, but then I probably took us somewhere else.
Oh, I think we were talking about how, some people do have these dreams that they figure are strange and don't make sense. And you really have to listen to your intuition. If it's telling you that you're from another planet, chances are you're from another planet. I view it as just a still like a different dimensional plane because I know that we all exist in different forms. We're not always in like a human form.
Right,
And
right,
we're not always on Earth. Of what you see is different places that you can live. The sun could be different colors. The moon could be different colors. Might not be a sun at all. Like there's different worlds. So a lot of people feel disassociated because of that. Because it's hard to find where these places are. Especially
right,
when you're a totally different dimension. You don't really know how to describe it to people.
right.
And it's the best way to describe it as well is it's another planet.
Also, let me just say, I just felt the calling to say I didn't want to interrupt you. If you feel called to just completely reject this way of thought, right? If you just feel completely like well, that absolutely not, like this is not true. Maybe it's just not for you, but I strongly encourage you to figure out why. Why is your knee jerk reaction to be like, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know. That shit ain't true.
I mean,
Is it
the
not though? Is it
government
not? So I would just say
been
to
studying it since
huh?
forever. I said the government been studying it since forever, so they utilize it. So why don't you utilize it?
And
So
then you
how?
have I was just talking to someone the other day, or I should say listening to someone the other day, because ultimately people are going to believe what it is that they want to believe. Okay, people are going to open up when they are ready to open up. So there are certain conversations that I just will not engage in, or I'll just like let people talk. But the individual that I was speaking to was just telling me, and she was actually very right, that you can't believe everything that you read, which obviously there are many things on the internet that are not true. That being said, there are many things that are true. So again, if your first reaction is to reject an idea, I challenge you to go within yourself, right? Because it doesn't matter what I think or the next person thinks. I challenge you to go within yourself and figure out why you're so quick to reject an idea, okay? Because you can disagree with something, but in order to disagree with something, you have to learn about it completely so you know what it is that you're disagreeing with. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say on that part. But you could go finish what you were saying. Sorry. Did you freeze again? Did you freeze again? No? Okay. Um, I was just running my mouth about that. But one of my favorite movies is Interstellar. Okay, like ever in the whole world. I have a bunch of favorite movies. If you know anything about me, like anything space related, it's probably on my favorite movie list. But Interstellar is one of my favorite movies. And um so I would say if you guys haven't seen that, go watch it. Also watch Inception. I just watched that. Just really kind of opened up my mind. But in Interstellar, so spoiler, I guess, for those of you that haven't seen it, just say it. Spoiler. But in the movie, he's in some sort of like he froze. Did you freeze? Stop freezing. He will come back again and do something similar. Hey, I was just saying that we're probably gonna wrap this up within the next like couple minutes because we're almost at an hour. And that I know that we didn't like touch on probably every single thing, but we can come back another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just said, basically we're just telling people to let us know in the comments. Maybe not so much in the chat because the chat's gonna go away, but in the comments if this is something that they enjoy. So let's give it like 2 more minutes. And I'm gonna stop talking until I'm supposed to talk again. Is there anything else that you think that we probably didn't touch on that we can squeeze into 2 minutes, or should we do a part 2?
I mean, we could do a part 2. I'm trying to think, what was I talking about last? Being from a different planet.
Oh yeah, and then when you went away, I was talking about Interstellar. But yes, different planet, different dimension, different plane. Go ahead.
Really, like I said earlier, you got to start sharing information. Like you can't hold it inside. A lot of people just have the dream and just think it's a dream. I think your intuition will kind of tell you who to share it with, or if you have a certain dream where you feel certain things, like you feel the person, it's them in the dream, or your dream is highly detailed. Like my dreams are real detailed. I can, see birds flying around, people walking around, cars driving. I hear the noises. So it's like I'm in a virtual world. So I'm usually able to pay attention to certain things. So if I share a dream with somebody, I can tell them like certain details, the couch was this color or the house was this color. We were in the car. And because you can have other people come to you in your dreams too, because when you're in these planes of existence, there's other people there too. There's other energies. And you don't have to be scared of everything either when you're in the dream. Because most of the times when you're scared of something or running from something, you're actually running from yourself. It's some other form of yourself. So that's what a lot of people be like, oh, you got to be careful of sleep paralysis and demons. And usually the demon is actually you.
High key. People be so afraid. I'll be so glad when people get out of this fear way of living.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like once you are having these dreams and detailed dreams, if something does scare you, you got to be able to face it, because nothing can actually happen to you. We don't ever die. We just keep reincarnating. So that's the thing you got to put into your mind. That's the real reality. Like we're taught that we die and we're in this body. We're not this body. And that was the disconnect when I came into this dimension, is knowing that I'm not this body.
Right. It's like a suit. It's like an avatar. Legit. Yeah. Like legit, which is another one of my favorite movies. Well, okay. Do you think we should end it here? We're at an hour.
So yeah, I mean we can before I freeze again.
Well, it's kind of that too. Okay, so listen. Thank you so much for being here. And so yeah, let us know. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel if you're not, and scroll and find there. I promise you there's something that's gonna catch your interest. You just gotta look for it. It shouldn't be too hard to find. So go check out his channel at 369 Dimension Readings. Also, side note, he is like a graphic artist, editor, all of that, check out 369, what is it? 369 admin group. You can find that from his channel as well. If you're a content creator and you're needing assistance or just want a different feel or look for your shit, check out Starting to Heal with Melody. Subscribe to her as well. Get your little short and sweet reads, okay, on your lunch break, okay, or wherever it is, you're on the toilet, wherever the case may be, when you got some 2 minutes, okay. And make sure you come back here. I'm gonna be back here later on tonight doing live reads. And listen, we'll do this again, but y'all gotta tell me, like, y'all gotta communicate this to us. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. That's all we got. Bye.
Up in the clouds and going. Do you wanna fly with me?
All right, I do ask you to go on ahead and check out, and then if you should so feel, subscribe to my live channel, Pretty Little Tale 333, as that is where we do our live reads. All right, let's see what y'all got going on.
PrettyLilLife.com. For live reads, subscribe to A Pretty Lil Tarot 333.